What up, book dwellers? So, if you can't tell, which you might not be able to, I am in a completely different place now. I actually moved into my new apartment finally. I am living in a studio by myself, but with a guest who I will introduce, a roommate who I will introduce in a minute. Yeah, I moved in not that long ago, so I'm still settling in, still getting all my books in place, so if my shelf looks a little empty, well, which it might not, but if it looks a little bit empty, it's because half my books are still packed, because they just came today. So we're working on it. But anyway, like I said, I do have a special roommate guest type thing to introduce you to today. Okay, so my roommate does not want to participate right now, so I'm going to insert a clip that I did earlier of him actually wanting to participate. I also have a little introduction to make while I'm explaining what's happening in my life. So once that, Kezzy, come here. Kezzy. I'm gonna keep that in because what a good boy. Come here, Kezzy. Hi, boy. Ugh. So this is Kaz. If you can't tell, hey, please don't bite me on camera. He doesn't like to be held. If you can't tell, yeah, he's named after Kaz from Six of Crows, but I call him Kazzy most of the time. But he also, it's short for Casper, isn't it? Good boy. He's was my brother's cat, but my brother couldn't take care of him. His tail's like in and out of the frame right now. It's funny. My brother couldn't take care of him because he has other cats and they didn't get along. Hi, Bubba. So I took him. I just recently got him when I moved into my new place, and we're having a good time together. So that's good. It's going really well. So yes, that is Kaz. He's my cat roommate. I don't know what he wants to consider himself. Right now he wants to consider himself not a part of anything. I asked him if he wanted to be involved. He said no. But yeah, so I'm super excited. He's a very good kitty most of the time. So today I wanted to do the second installment in my Raven Cycle series review thing. I actually read all of these like a month ago, so that's unfortunate because I remember a lot less than I did, and I kind of have to refilm them because the filming wasn't super good on the other ones. So I'll do my best to talk about what I liked, disliked, how I felt about these. This is also a spoilery review, so if you have not read this, and even if you have not read the first one, do not watch this. So this is The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, and it is, like I said, the second book in the Raven Cycle series. And like I said, I read this about a month ago, so I'm going to try to do my best to remember everything about it, but we will see. So I did give this book and the whole series 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely love this series. I've been trying to get like everyone to read it lately because I love it. It's that good. All the characters are like my favorite characters ever, so like, wow. But yeah, this book is about the quintet. I've never called them that before, but anyway, the 5 kids continuing their search for Glendower and dealing with that wonderful last line from the end of book 1 where Ronan's like, hey, I pulled a chainsaw out of my dreams. That just got me. But yeah, again, if you're watching this, hopefully you've read this book so you know the general plot. But like I said, it follows Ronan and him exploring his ability to dream things a lot better, along with another, I don't know how to pronounce the school name, but another student from his school who also happens to be able to dream things and pull things out of his dreams. And they, work together to they kind of, help each other get better at this, despite the other kid being a total douchebag. Other things that happened in this book were Ronan going back to his family home that he was not supposed to be in, the Barnes, and also the whole introduction of the Gray Man, which was interesting because, you know, you just suddenly add a hitman into it, and it's like, oh, okay. So that was, you know, interesting, but I didn't like him at first, but I ended up, you know, liking his character a lot more by the end of this book, so that's good. Also, I really like that, first of all, look at my baby on the cover. He gets his own little cover. Oh my gosh, he's beautiful. So I love that, obviously, to have my boy have his own cover. And also, I love the focus on him. I heard that we're getting another series about him at some point, so, you know, that she's plotted it out. So, you know, I'm very excited about that because I love him so much. Yeah, so obviously I loved this book for that reason, because God bless. So yeah, again, there's not like a big like overarching plot in this book. It is like a second book, so you know that tends to be the situation, that we're just kind of going through things that already happened and getting to things that are going to happen later. But that's a general summary of what happened in this book. Yeah, so with that, let's get on to how I felt about it, I guess. Like I said, I really loved that this whole book was basically Ronin focused. If you don't like Ronin, then you're probably gonna hate this. I mean, again, I hope that you've read it if you're at this point in this video, but you probably hate this book if you don't like Ronin. But I love it because I love him. And it was so him focused and so focused on what's going on in his head and stuff. And that's the most interesting thing ever. Oh my gosh, because he has so much going on and so much like, so many things that he's dealing with and going through and stuff. It's so interesting. I totally like got to the little, I don't remember what the comment was, but there was one of those comments of like, basically a gay joke directed at Ronin. And I'm like, oh, and I was like, yes, this is very exciting. Okay, good. Like if my favorite character is gay, that's great. And they haven't confirmed it by the end of this book, but I definitely like see it coming. I also love how in-depth and how detailed all of these books are. Like it's so interesting how basically like scientific this becomes. Like I don't even know. It's a lot of detail and a lot of like explanation of how all these things work, and it's so cool. Like I know it's very like fantasy-esque and like urban fantasy-esque, but there's like honestly like some amount of science fiction in here too, and like really interesting science fiction. Like I really love that, and I love how there are rules to dreaming and pulling things out of dreams, and like it totally makes sense like how it works, I guess, and like they explain that and he has to learn that, and like it's so worked into the plot that it doesn't feel fake or anything. Like it feels very normal and real, that's how they would explain that. So I really liked that. And as always, I love the detail behind finding Glendower and looking for Glendower and how all that stuff works, and also the detail in all of their lives, because they all have such like rich, detailed lives, especially going into Adam's life more in this book, and a little bit more into Gansy's life as we like meet his family more and stuff like that. I really liked that. We also get to meet more people in Blue's life a lot. Like I know Orla becomes a bigger part. I don't know about in this book, but you know, she starts to become a bigger part in this book. And you know, people like that, we definitely get to know who's in her house more, and I thought that was cool. Another thing I loved about this book was the whole like dreaming practice scene, I guess. Like, you know, when Kavinsky and Ronin are like in the woods with all the cars, and he's kind of like helping Ronin to like figure out how to dream things better. That was really interesting. Very drug-based, but you know, it was interesting. I just thought it was really cool. Also, Joseph Kavinsky, you need to calm down. Like, wow, what an ending. Just like, okay, jump off of the thing and just kill yourself. Okay, that's cool. And then all of his dreams die. Also, one of his friends was his dream. Like, he needs to calm down a little bit. Like, that was a little much, sir. But yeah, like, it's not like I came to like his character as a, like, in any way, shape, or form. He was not, no, there's nothing likable about that kid. Like, there's literally nothing likable about that kid. So, you know, it didn't like upset me. It was just kind of like, wow, okay, that's a little dramatic, but sure, whatever, okay. So those are really my main thoughts on The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. I absolutely adore this book in particular out of the series, even though it's a little bit more like a second book, you know, like I said, with a little more, it's a little slower, there's a little less plot in it, I guess. But it focused on my boy, so I loved it. But yeah, I'll definitely be talking about the other books very soon. I really want to get through reviews for this whole series. Oh, I did forget to explain. Sorry for the lack of video last Friday. I was actually moving the next day, so I didn't have, it's very complicated. I got back from New York and I was moving very soon after that, and I really didn't have time to film and edit and put a video up, so I'm very sorry, but here's a video now, and I will try to keep up with Fridays from now on. But yeah, so I will see you next Friday with a new video from me, and look out for a new video from Colleen on Tuesday. Bye!